Welcome and good evening. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is KG Varela, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Nature Health Science Incorporated. Today, we'll be discussing our CBD brand, EvoCann, which offers a full spectrum line of CBD products. So for the next few weeks, we are going to review some of the topical internal uses of CBD. Today, myself, the founder, CEO of Nature Health Science, will give everyone a better understanding of the correct ways and applications for CBD, showcasing our EvoCann brand. So without any further ado, I'm going to jump into our presentation. So thank you for taking the time to spend about 30 minutes with us. Usually there would be questions and answers at the end, but like I mentioned earlier, we had some technical difficulties, so I'm re-recording the original presentation, the webinar, and we'll be back to kind of the live version next week. So thank you for those that called in earlier, and again, sorry for the little technical difficulty we have. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into our presentation, and let me cue that up and share my desktop. Bear with me for 2 seconds. Let's see, entire screen. Yes, we want to share the entire screen. Hopefully you guys can see it, because I can't at this point. Don't freeze up on me. Okay, great. Hopefully that worked and you can see my screen. All right, now I'm going to pull the PowerPoint presentation and we're going to jump right into it. So great, you can see my photo, and that's my co-founder, Jamie, COO of Nature Science Health Incorporated, and both represent the EvoCann brand. So for today's topic, we are discussing the evolution of CBD, EvoCann's products. And so for today's discussion, we will talk about topical usage. Lots of different products out there, internal, external products. But today we want to start out simple and keep it safe. And I don't know why this thing is driving itself. God, it's always something with this. But anyway, I'm just leave it on here so that it doesn't start changing slides on me. Sorry, guys, just bear with me. And there we go. Okay, so like I said, today we'll talk about topical usage, balms, lotions, and hygiene products. And if you see the EvoCann wheel below, you can see the different products that we do have. We have, typically what we like to call, Jamie and I call 3 different sections. We have our topicals, creams, and balms, which are applied to the skin. We also have hygiene products, and I think there's a couple of them on the wheel, which you can see. So those would be the full spectrum shampoo, the full spectrum beard balm, and the deodorant. We'll talk more in detail on those. And then we also do have beauty products. So on the bottom left corner, you'll see the full spectrum facial serum in the EvoCann icon. Also, what's very important, and some of the takeaways that we hope to achieve and educate you on today is, for example, bio. It's a big word, but essentially that just refers to how your body absorbs CBD and gets it into, for example, your bloodstream, so that way your body can use it internally in your organs and where it's needed. So we'll talk about bioavailability. Just don't be scared by the term. It's just a big word. We'll also discuss in some detail EvoCann's external products and how they work. Again, you can refer to the icon right there to the left. Those are some of our products. We'll showcase them today and discuss them. And also, what we put in and on our bodies really really matters significantly to your wellness, your health and wellness. And I can't stress that enough. The food you eat, you are what you eat. Also, we are finding out nowadays, the products are just as egregious as, or can be just as harmful as some of the food products from, conventional. There's been tons of articles in the news. One that comes to mind was the baby powder issue that Johnson & Johnson had. It was one of the biggest lawsuits, I believe, last year, that product claim lawsuits because it caused cervical cancer in a lot of women. So again, very important what you put in and on your body. It really makes a big difference. And that's one of the primary reasons that we are cleaning up products and redeveloping them with CBD to offer a lot of different functional results. And we'll get into those in more detail. And then lastly, another very important topic, and we actually have a whole webinar based on this, active detoxification is a must. Again, we put a lot of products in and on our bodies. And if you're not actively removing and cleaning your body, those chemicals can build up, cause tumor growth, cancers, all types of negative issues. And we'll get into some of that today. All right, so I'm gonna jump forward on the next slide. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Okay, so now it gets a little bit technical. You're gonna hear a lot of discussion around cannabinoids. What's the endocannabinoid system? How does it work? What's the role of the endocannabinoid system in relation to CBD? We will discuss all this. This is just, I'm prefacing kind of the next discussion. So it gets a bit technical at this point. Before we jump to the next slide, I really love this slide, the icon on this slide. So I want to show you, this is an example of, and there's better details on the further slide, but this is what the endocannabinoid system is. And you see all the little hexagons next to the big hexagon in the middle. So consider your endocannabinoid system is your controller for all these different organs and systems, so they can work in tandem to promote two things. The endocannabinoid system is really responsible for two things: healing the body. How do you make all these variable systems work together so that way we can heal our bodies and optimize our bodies? And the other major responsibility of the endocannabinoid system is balance. So healing and balance. And if you think about those two in the body, those are two major aspects of a quality life, right? Okay, so let's jump into a little more detail. So sorry, guys, it's going to get a little technical, and hopefully you can see this, but I'm going to zoom in on just a tad. Okay, so here comes the technical jargon. So what is an endocannabinoid? And as you can see at the top, the endocannabinoid system is a biological system composed of endocannabinoids, which are cannabinoid receptor proteins that are expressed throughout the central nervous system and its peripheral. That's actually kind of vague, but we'll get into more detail. And as we mentioned on the previous slide, you've seen all the systems that the endocannabinoid system can control or can influence. So when it comes to cannabinoid-based medicine, people often think of two major cannabinoids, THC and CBD. You'll hear them in the news, and people interchange them all the time. Some quick heads up on the difference between CBD and THC. They both come from marijuana. Now, marijuana has you could say two species or two brothers. One of them is cannabis or marijuana, and the other is cannabis hemp. So the cannabis marijuana, people are very familiar with that. It is psychedelic. THC will make you feel loopy or sedated or not clear-minded. So it does have a psychedelic effect or a psychoactive effect, whereas CBD does not. So if you ingest or you take CBD internally, it helps more medicinally, more therapeutically. You're not going to get loopy. You're not going to get that high feeling. But I would caution you with CBD. If you do take high dose CBD, it has been known to sedate. You won't get loopy, but you will feel very relaxed and very sleepy. So it can, in high dose, have a response in your body immediately. So most people, however, are very unaware that the human body has its own system of processing and even creating its own cannabinoids. So we create internal cannabinoids in our body in really low doses. And this is why, to really influence your endocannabinoid system, you might have to intake cannabinoids from external sources. So again, endocannabinoids are natural cannabinoids your body produces on its own that we all have in ourselves. The next topic or definition, phytocannabinoids, and this is where it gets interesting. Phytocannabinoids are produced by plant-based sources, and they can either be cannabis-based or non-cannabis-based plants. So, for example, I mentioned marijuana and hemp earlier. Marijuana and hemp are cannabis-based plants. But for example, we do see one of my favorites, echinacea, particularly in the wintertime, that actually has cannabinoids in it. It doesn't have THC or CBD. It has some of the other cannabinoids. There's over 100 of them. So there are other sources where you can get cannabinoids in your body. It's not just hemp, and it's not just cannabis or marijuana. There's also synthetic cannabinoids. Synthetic cannabinoids are produced in the laboratory, synthesized, and what their purpose really is, or what they were created for, was for people that were that were deficient in cannabinoids or natural cannabinoids, and they needed a slight boost to maintain balance and health, like I said before. So we do see synthetic cannabinoids in the medical space, and I believe it's definitely prescribed by prescription to have synthetic cannabinoids for pain management and other applications. The last two topics to talk about on this page are the receptors. So we have CB1 receptors. These are typically found in the brain and in the central nervous system, particularly up and down the spine. As the spine runs the body and shoots off to the different organs, you see receptor sites from the spine to the organs to the brain. So it's all linked. And then CB2 receptors are the receptors that are spread throughout the body, typically in the immune system in the gut. So with that being said, look, you have two major portions of CB1 and CB2 receptors, CB1 on the brain and the spine and then organs. And then you have your CB2 receptors predominantly congregated in the gut and the immune system. That should tell you something, and we'll get to that in a second. But look at the clues that Mother Nature is trying to tell you about your body. Modern medicine does not acknowledge the endocannabinoid system. It was discovered, I believe, in the late 90s by Israeli scientists. And since then, it caused a whole flurry of new medical advancement. So we have this mechanism in our body that controls balance and healing, and modern medicine does not understand it. So why is that? Good question, KG. I like to ask myself questions. But we'll jump into that on the next slide. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing just for a second so I can run my mouth a little bit more. Okay, great. So what I'm about to show you, this is why CBD and cannabis are so important to what we're going to see now as holistic and modern medicine. Like I said before, the endocannabinoid system is the body's controller. So I know a lot of people have heard of, even fictitiously, this link between the gut and the brain. Some people say the gut is the second brain in the body. So what you put in your gut will influence all parts of your bodies, because we put we eat food, we eat energy to go into our body so it can be processed and moved to all our organs. So the gut really is the second brain of the body. So your body has two brains, and then the beauty of the system, which we're discovering, and I'm gonna jump to back to the presentation, the endocannabinoid system is that bridge. It is the bridge that links both your brains, your gut and your brain, through the spine with all the receptors. This is why CBD particularly will be, it's not considered a supplement. To me, it's very, very much like a super medicine. It can control many organs in your body, and it can have an effect where you, for example, will take CBD for inflammation, but then you notice that, let's just say you had a cyst on your leg and it's gone, or you had, let's say, cankers and you took CBD for cankers and you notice that your back doesn't hurt anymore. I've seen, for example, also recently, women that were suffering from menopause. So for example, they tried our bath products, our bath salt, which I actually have right next to me. So we'll talk about this in a little more detail. But the bath salt is a really great detoxification product. It's infused bath salt. You pour it in a hot tub, you sit in it for 30 minutes, your whole body will absorb CBD. So it's a different type of application. And we'll talk about absorption in a second. But what the aha moment was with the endocannabinoid system for this particular patient was she was trying to reduce her inflammation and swelling and her soreness. And she sat in the tub with the bath salt that I just showed you, the infused bath salt with CBD. And she noticed that her hot flashes were gone after that. So she continued to use the bath products and some of the pain products, the topical products, and it really had a major effect on her hot flashes and how her body was responding to menopause. So we do see kind of this, I like to call it the entourage effect, or the buffet, right? You come in for one item and you get a whole slew of relief, for example, for inflammation, sleep, pain, mood, bowel issues. And this is all because the endocannabinoid system is linked. Okay, so now I'm going to jump back into the presentation and I'm going to show you my favorite picture. Okay, we jump back. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble. Okay, here it is. So you see the picture to the right. These are, again, like that first slide that I showed you, the endocannabinoid system, along with the CB1 and CB2 receptors. You can see them on all the different organs. So let's examine that a little bit more in detail. So why was it that one of the patients or one of the clients that was sitting in the infused bath salt noticed that her menopause and her hot flashes had been dealt with? So apparently she absorbed enough CBD into the body where it was absorbed into the bloodstream and it's made its way into her organs where it hit the system, and then the CBD went to throughout her body and helped with hot flashes, sleep, and pain and soreness. This is the magic of the endocannabinoid system, and this is how it works. It's all linked together by a central controller, again, that's responsible for healing and balance. So if I can't stress those two things enough, this is why CBD is effective medication for a whole slew of different things, because it's transposable between the organs and it's being controlled by the endocannabinoid system. So how does the endocannabinoid system work? I'm going to kind of briefly talk about this again. Cannabinoids and their receptors work much like a lock and key, and I have a picture of that on the next slide. Two primary cell receptors make up the ECS, cannabinoid receptor 1, CB1, and CB2. These are the locks, and the CB1 receptors are abundant in the central nervous system, in the gut, like I said, and CB2 is found predominantly, actually I had that backwards. CB1 is found in the central nervous system, in the brain and the spine. And then CB2 receptors are found in the immune system, in the gut. So these are linking your two brains, and the endocannabinoid system is that link between the both. Because the endocannabinoid systems are found in so many different places in the body, again, like I mentioned, they are crucial for optimal health and balance. In fact, they play a significant role in regulating many bodily functions like sleep, appetite, digestion, hunger, healing, mood, motor control, immune function, pleasure, reward, pain, memory, and temperature regulation. And that was very important in temperature regulation. That's why those hot flashes were kind of dealt with. It has the ability to really get in there and see what's going on in your body and try to figure out how can we balance all your systems, right? Okay. Oh, let me get to it. So what role does the ECS have in CBD? And I think I wrote some notes on this slide. I'm going to jump to them really quickly because I had a bunch of points that I wanted to share with you guys, and I always mistake point or always forget to mention stuff because there's so much to cannabis and there's so much to understand and learn. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what role does the ECS have in CBD. So we mentioned earlier bioavailability, that big word, right? And I'm just going to read it. So bioavailability is a noun. It's the portion of the drug or the substance that enters the circulation when introduced into the body. And so it is able to have an active effect, meaning, in other words, how much of this product can you get in your bloodstream so that way it can circulate around to your body, into your organs, and be absorbed internally. That's what bioavailability means. It just means the percentage that your body was able to absorb. And then for bioavailability, there are 4 takeaways that we're going to discuss, and I'm going to quickly get through this because this is the other important fact, and you need to understand this when it comes to topicals and CBD products. You have to get them absorbed into your body, and there's different ways to absorb, and there's different processes to absorb, and it's also influenced by how well your body is actually functioning. So I'm going to get into this a little more detail. How our body absorbs CBD. We'll talk about that. There's several different mechanisms, and I'm going to jump between 2 slides. For example, this subcutaneous absorption. That means through your skin as you sit in the tub with infused bath salt, or if you use the pain balm and you place it on your skin and your body and rub it in, and it absorbs through your skin. The pain balm and the pain products are kind of a local application, whereas the bath salt, that's your whole entire body because you're sitting in a bathtub or you're soaking, a major part of your body. It's also a great foot soak. You can absorb CBD that way into the bloodstream, into the body. So that's the first topic. How do we absorb, right? Like I mentioned, subcutaneous absorption. There's also absorption through the stomach. Eating a CBD edible or a product or a drinkable will get it into your stomach, and then you'll metabolize it and get it into your bloodstream that way through metabolic processes. There's inhaling. When I say inhaling, you could smoke CBD, or we've seen vaporizers before, kind of like the asthma, the asthma inhalers. That's another mechanism to get CBD into the deep lung. As it goes through the capillaries, it enters the bloodstream directly through the lung. That's one way of getting it into your body. There's intravenous. You could inject it. We haven't seen much of that yet, but I'm sure it's coming. And then there is sublingual absorption, which means under the tongue. If you place a few drops of, for example, our full spectrum CBD oil under the tongue, your sublingual gland will pull it in and shoot it directly into your bloodstream. And it's one of the fastest ways to get any kind of CBD or product into your body is sublingual. But the disadvantage of using sublingual, for example, is you can't get large quantities into the sublingual duct. It's very limited. So you'd have to kind of dose all day to get a medical dose of CBD into your body. So those are the mechanisms for absorption. Is bioavailability the same as absorption? They're very related, but they're slightly different. As I mentioned, bioavailability is the calculation of, for example, if I ate 100 milligrams of CBD, and if my stomach was working properly and, I didn't eat a lot of other foods with it, I could expect to absorb maybe 30 to 45% of that CBD. So for the 100 milligrams, if I ingested it, I should expect, if my body is working normally, roughly 30 to 40 milligrams absorption. And unfortunately, the rest is past. So that's why it's very important to understand bioavailability and absorption, because if you're going to spend a lot of money on CBD, which it is pricey and it is expensive, it's 3 or 4 times normal conventional products. You want to make sure that you're absorbing as much of it as possible, that you're not wasting and your body's not passing it. So that's why bioavailability and absorption is so important. Okay. Yeah, so I answered bioavailability. Now absorption, absorption just means the process of physically moving the CBD into your body, into your bloodstream. So absorption could be, there's different absorption points, the skin, you could absorb it in your stomach. Like we mentioned before, you could inhale it. There's also suppositories if you needed a high dose really quickly, for example, like a stage 4 cancer patient. We recommend suppositories. Those are just 90% absorption, and you don't, it's past the gut. So you most likely, you don't metabolize it the same way, but it does get into the bloodstream much more effectively. That's also another mechanism to get it into your body. So that covers kind of absorption. Also, and then another interesting way to absorb CBD in one of our products, 2 of our products, our hygiene products, are the deodorant and our toothpaste. So I'm going to give you a quick kind of run through on both of those, because I mentioned earlier, it's very important of what we put in and on our bodies, right? So we have 2 products, 2 hygiene products that we're extremely proud of. The CBD infused, or the full spectrum infused deodorant. Let me speak to that one first. So conventional deodorants typically have aluminum and parabens and what we call PEG, ethylene glycol, in them. And those are all have been known to be harmful to the body or carcinogenic, meaning causing cancer to the body. So a lot of deodorants already have those built into them when they make them from some of the, the big manufacturers. And why they did this was to keep costs low. Natural products are expensive. They're 3, 4, 5 times the cost. So a lot of the, the big manufacturers try to cut costs by using filler products. And unfortunately, they went from Mother Nature to synthetic chemicals, much cheaper in price, but they do have a lot of negative side effects. And we are finding out that in today's, with today's technology. So for example, with the deodorant, aluminum with parabens and PEG, that combination has been known to cause breast cancer and other cancers in the lymphatic system and in the body. So the armpit is essentially the body's sewer. It is the lymphatic system opening where your body can move toxins, chemicals, waste out of your body, fats, oils, greases, things that we put in our body. Our body is constantly trying to push them out at the same time. So we re-engineered our full spectrum deodorant to remove the aluminum, to remove the PEG, and to remove the ethylene glycol. And we stripped those out. And what we do is add more natural products. So it's a shea butter infused deodorant that has baking soda or sodium bicarbonate. Sorry, I was looking for the word. Which is known, Arm & Hammer is really known to absorb sweat and odor control. We also scented it with lemongrass and juniper. We removed the PEG, we removed the aluminum. So there's no threat of those toxins making their way into your body. Now, what we did do is we put CBD, high spectrum or full spectrum CBD into the deodorant. So your body is slowly absorbing it all day through your armpit. And what the beauty of that is, if you have any tumors or any cancers growing in your lymphatic system, and that's the place where cancer spread, through the back door in the body, through the lymphatic system. It's nice to know that you have a slow dose of CBD and leaching into your body all day long that could kill or cause apoptosis, which is the destruction of cancer cells in the body. So we really make interesting products, and they're all third-party tested. We try to remove a lot of the carcinogens that we see in today's products. The other one I'll mention really quickly is our mouth scrub. So it's an activated charcoal mouth scrub, which is great for detoxification, right? So you want to, when you wake up in the morning, you want to get all those toxins out of your mouth that you've been breathing in all day, all night. If you've been snoring, you have bad breath, those are bacterial growth. So the activated charcoal in our tooth scrub is great. So the problem with conventional toothpaste, and please look this up, conventional toothpaste has, what does it have? It has fluoride. And fluoride has been shown or known to really calcify the brain, particularly the pineal gland, which can cause all types of issues from Alzheimer's to Parkinson's to autism. So you got to watch the metals in your body. And it's really important that the metals and the fluoride, once you get those in your body on a daily basis through some of the products that you're using, it can really have a negative effect way down the line. And you see a lot of folks end up with Alzheimer's, breast cancer, because, and unfortunately, they don't know that some of the products that they're using are causing some of those advanced diseases to take place in the beginning. So all we're saying is we kind of re-engineered that and flipped that, where we use these products to hack your body and potentially, protect you from anything that could potentially grow, or any free radicals, any tumors that are on a mission to turn into a cancer cell. You want to stack your own deck in your own favor. And this is coming from someone that, me particularly, I've survived cancer. I had cancer about 8 years ago, and I actually had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, so blood cancer that was spreading through my lymphatic system. These are why these products are very special to me. This is proactive defense against diseases. So just 2 products that I wanted to showcase today that really could help you with cancer prevention or cancer from coming back into your life. So I use these on a regular basis. And this is why we clean up products and why bioavailability and absorption matter, because your body can also absorb some of the carcinogens that you don't want it to absorb. So that's why it's very important for you to know exactly what you're putting in and on your body, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so I digress now. I think I went through my rant. One more point I want to make too. You will hear full spectrum CBD and isolate CBD. They're just 2 different types of product. So a full spectrum product simply means that it's a whole plant extraction, meaning the grower used the buds, the flower, the stems, some of the branches to extract CBD and all the phytonutrients that come out of that come out of the hemp plant. So for example, like green color, which is chlorophyll. You want that in your body. That's what kills cancer and destroys lactic acid from building up in your system, which causes cramps. So you want things like that are found in nature. You don't want those stripped away if you're trying to achieve a medical effect. Now, on the other hand, there's isolate CBD. And what that means is you're just getting pure CBD with no other co-constituents. So no phytonutrients like chlorophyll or chlorophyll, which is like hemoglobin in the body. It cleans out the blood. So depending on what's going on in your body, you really want to think about full spectrum or isolate. And we do use both of those in both our products, but we lead with full spectrum so you can get the whole entourage effect of the whole plant strategy. You really want to understand that. And we have a future webinar on that if you really are trying to do something medically. Okay. And then isolate is good because if you need high doses of CBD and you want something very specific in particular, isolates are a good option for you to kind of dial in on your CBD. So we'll speak a little bit more in detail on those 2. Okay, so now what does bioavailability mean with CBD? I mentioned earlier, you got to understand what you're taking, what you're putting in and on your body, but then you want to understand, what are you really trying to do? You're trying to, fix your inflammation. You're trying to treat, a tumor that's growing in your liver, or you're trying to lots of different applications that you could, try to use CBD to help heal or balance your body. Or what if, for another example, is if you're an autism patient, you want to get a lot more CBD into your body versus just putting it on your skin. And case in point, another example was I recently had an email from a very desperate parent. Their son, I think he was 3 or 4 years old, developed a tumor in his brain. And like any concerned parent, they were reaching out and very desperate for help. So they asked me, could we purchase some of your, infused bath salt so he can soak in the tub and hopefully it will help his tumor. So let me kind of respond to that just like quickly. Tumors are advanced diseases, and if you really think about it, if you're trying to attack something, something aggressive as a tumor, you really want to get the CBD into your body and into your brain, particularly, where the affected area is. So not necessarily sitting in CBD, in CBD infused bath salt, the soak is not really gonna help get the right amount of CBD to the body. So that's where you want to kind of understand, what are you trying to do with the CBD and where do you need it? Those are two very important things. And then what other factors affect bioavailability? So I'm gonna jump to the next slide. I meant to kind of go to the slide a few minutes back, but I'm gonna spend a minute on it. So what other factors affect bioavailability? Let's just say if you needed a medical dose of CBD internally and you decided to ingest it, right? Now, if you have gut issues or anything wrong with your digestive tract, it's definitely going to influence how much CBD you absorb, right? So you have to be mindful of that. And this is why we created our strategy with CBD, where we break it up into multiple products, because then you're ensuring that, one, you're getting CBD into your body from many different sources in many different ways. So it's getting into your body in different areas, which is great because it takes the CBD and moves it to where it needs to go, and you can get a lot more product into your body over a longer period of time. All right. So that's why we came up with a lot of different products like deodorants and toothpaste. You brush your teeth in the morning, you absorb a dose of CBD through your mouth cavity, your tongue, your sublingual gland, your throat. It's non-toxic. It goes right into the body. And since you're so close in proximity to the brain, that's why the mouth scrub is a great product, because you're getting a benign dose of CBD right in your body in the morning as you brush your teeth. And then if you put your deodorant on as well, under each arm, you're getting slow release CBD into your body and eventually into your bloodstream all day long, which could help with things like inflammation, pain, back pain, PMS, migraines, different types of ailments. So it is important to kind of switch it up and make sure that you're getting different products that can absorb different ways. So that way you're ensuring that you're getting enough CBD into the body, right? Let's see. So those are some of the things that can influence bioavailability. So if you do have like stomach issues and you need CBD in your body, that's why we create other ways of getting it into your body, either through digestion and inhalation, suppository deposits, or even subcutaneous absorption. So lots of different ways to get it in your body. We just try to provide many different options for folks, just to meet everybody's requirements, because some people have other things going on in their life. And I mentioned before the lock and key system, and you can see in this diagram, this is another one of my favorite diagrams. You see the CB1 and CB2 receptors, and in the middle between the two you see in CBD and THC. Fortunately, THC is the lock and key system where you can see those two little indentions. It needs, CBD needs to bind to the receptor, THC needs to bind to the receptor sites, whereas CBD is easily absorbed through the receptor and then influences the receptor to produce cannabinoids and communicate with the synapses. So the picture to the left on the body, you can see the CB1 receptors in blue, predominantly in the brain. You can see the spinal column going down. You see little blue dots all over the place. And then as you get to the body, you see CB2 receptors spread throughout the body, through the legs, through the arteries. You see them in the gut, in the stomach. The liver and the spleen has a concentration, and all throughout the body. and you see they're interlinked. They've actually recently found a CB3 receptor. This is how cutting edge this is. And the CB3 receptors are the receptors that actually govern both the CB1 and CB2, kind of like the controller. So those are the master cannabinoids, the CB3 receptor. We'll get to that in a future webinar when more more information is available, because I believe it was discovered earlier in the year, right? So bioavailability, absorption are influenced by how well your body is functioning. Where do you need the CBD? What are you trying to do? Those are all important things that you need to really understand when you're trying to get CBD into the body. Okay, so I'm going to jump out really quickly, and time for product time. My favorite part. Okay, so I mentioned earlier our bath salt, right? This is our rose hibiscus pink Himalayan bath salt. And if you know pink Himalayan salt comes from the Himalayas. It's imported from Pakistan. It's over billions of years old. It has lots of good things for the body in terms of detoxification, ionic recharging. There's lots of benefits to soaking your body in pink Himalayan. It also helps with detoxification. We also put magnesium flake in here. If you can see, I'll put it a little closer, as well as, here's my camera, as well as botanicals, essential oils, minerals. So it has the very best of nature. And this jar has about, I would say, roughly 100 milligrams of CBD. And it's about 2 portions. So I would dump about half this into the tub, and I would soak for at least 30 minutes and absorb it through my body. It's a completely different experience than, let's just say, ingesting CBD, or even drinking it, or topical, because those are localized. Now imagine you put your whole body into the tub. All your skin, the whole surface area of your body is going to absorb CBD, and it has a much more pronounced kind of result and effect on the body. Much more relaxation, much more deep pain relief when it comes to soreness and joint pain. Really great for things like that. And then I'm going to show you guys next. This is my baby. This is my favorite product. This is our pain balm, and this is our extra strength. This is a 1 ounce pain balm, and the beauty of this pain balm, it's all natural. There's no chemicals in it. You can read the ingredients on our website. It's a shea butter infused topical or pain balm that has 8 active medicines. And I engineered this product about 3 or 4 years ago when I was thinking about some of my favorite pain products growing up as a kid. For example, I ran a lot of track and played a lot of sports. So my mother, I'm part Japanese, she would always have Tiger Balm, and I love the menthol, to help me with pain. So I decided, why don't we create a pain balm, CBD infused pain balm that's like Tiger Balm but better. And that's where we came up with 8 active medicines. So it's not just like pain balm where it's menthol and petrolatum, which is also a carcinogen. We use shea butter and tons of menthol. Has lidocaine in it, which is organic plant-based lidocaine, which is great for the skin, great for pain management, swelling. It also has capsaicin, CBD, lots of natural essential oils that have been shown to help with inflammation and relaxation. So this product was engineered looking at the entire market in the CBD and THC space, and trying those topicals, and really didn't get the great effect that I was looking for. So I decided to create my own with 8 different active medicines. So please try this. It's a great product. I stand behind this. This is our flagship product. This is our pain balm. And those are the 2 products that I have with me to show for today. And let's see, was there anything else I wanted to chat about? Now, normally on this session, normally on the webinars, this is where we would break for questions. So I'm running my mouth a little bit more to chew up some time. So that way, hopefully there's no questions that come out of this. But if there are, feel free to post your comments or your questions or email them to me, and I will definitely respond to them. And let me just throw this out there for next week's webinar. We will cover the topic of, like I mentioned earlier, detoxification and why that is so important to the body. And let me just jump back to my presentation, hopefully real quick. I think I finished it. Oh, yeah, let me just end on this. Okay. Switching back to presentation mode. There we go. And So this is our mission. And I mentioned earlier why this company started. And I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on this because it's very important and explains a lot about our background and how we develop products, external products, internal products. We have quite a few. So our mission begins or started out as a cancer survivor's personal mission. And I'm unfortunately, that cancer survivor. While fighting the hard fight against cancer and realizing there was not many options for natural holistic therapies. Yeah, and it was kind of weird. The doctor pulls you aside and says, "Hey, we think you have cancer," and then you're like on way to chemo, and there's no other options. There's no holistic options. There's no other tandem options, that you could use in conjunction instead of chemo, or to minimize the chemo. And that's where we decided to develop products in the holistic space. Mother Nature creates a lot of different cures for cancer. It's just some are better than others. Some have been shown to, kill cancer or cause apoptosis. There's lots of therapies in holistic products that could help with those things. What we simply do is choose some of the better ones or the more efficient ones and tailor design them to work for your body, not the other way around, not with the side effects of conventional medicine. So conversely, the food and the products we place in and out of our bodies can really have a good or bad health consequence later in life. We are committed to developing cleaner, more efficient, and far safer plant-based products that many of the controversial products, far safer plant-based products than many of the conventional products available on the market today. And unfortunately, those are coming to light now that food technology and modern technology are starting to understand much more effectively how to do some of these synthetic chemicals really influence health. So through preliminary research, we discovered how effectively holistic products helped to shorten the recovery time and lessen the pain. Soon enough, we were helping out our friends and family. And that's a true story. I'll just throw this out there. My friends and family, my mother uses this product. My whole entire family use our product. They were my guinea pigs. And unfortunately now, they're some of my best customers, and they support the product. They've educated themselves on CBD and cannabinoids and how you can use them effectively in your life to have a better quality of life. So a lot of my elderly or aging family members are scared to death of opioids, and I'm scared to death with them. So I would not let them use some of those conventional products because they're just too dangerous and so addictive. So what we've done in the process is come up with products that are just as effective without the side effects. So that's what I'm very proud of. And I'm going to kind of jump back into this. After the journey and discovery of how effective cannabinoids uses were, we knew that the road ahead, we knew what the road ahead needed to look like. EvoCann's full spectrum lifestyle product line was developed to provide more pure, natural, and nutritional therapeutic approaches that deliver the most effective results. So we're trying to give you the bang for your buck, and we're trying to educate you on, you will see next year with the Farm Bill and the CBD market exploding, the industry exploding, there's going to be thousands of companies coming out there pushing all types of products from gummies to tinctures to edibles to topicals. What we're saying is, if you're going to use CBD in your body, which could be life-changing, it could have a great impact on your quality of life. All we're simply saying is make sure your product that you're putting on your body meets high standards. It's tested. It comes from a known source, and you have traceability on those products. You know exactly what's been put in those. You know how they're made. You know where, for example, the hemp was grown, who grew it, who tested it. If the products that you purchase or see out there don't have that, be very wary of that stuff. Even in conventional space, read your labels and understand your product. Sorry. And we believe in helping people in combining what nature provides and science to create high quality products that you can trust without the preservatives, dyes, chemicals, carcinogens found in many conventional health and wellness products today. And unfortunately, they're contributing to lifestyle autoimmune disease, the trends that we see in the United States, and it's becoming very scary. I think the statistic at the moment is 4 out of 10 Americans will come down with cancer in their life, and that's a direct number. Also, I believe the latest statistic on diabetes is roughly 20% of the U.S. population will develop diabetes, and it's going to far surpass 20%. So this is a great time for CBD to be coming out in the United States. We need natural holistic products that can really help with some of these autoimmune lifestyle diseases that we see today. So lastly, our products are trusted by holistic health professions and health conscious people everywhere. Each of our batches are carefully tested for purity, safety, and consistency to ensure that you are getting nature's very best. Okay, and that is our presentation, and that is why we started this company, and that's who we are. EvoCann is a wholly owned subsidiary under Nature Science Health Incorporated. And again, my name is KG Varela, the CEO, and I look forward to chatting with you guys next week. And I mentioned before, next week will be on detoxification. And I know we chatted about it on this webinar, this episode. So it's just remember this takeaway. It's very important what you put in and on your body, and it's just as important to remove what you put in and on your body actively. So we're going to spend a little time next week to talk about active detoxification, so you can prevent disease and improve your quality of life with EvoCann's full spectrum lifestyle and products. You guys have a good night, and it was my pleasure being able to introduce you to EvoCann and chat about CBD in more detail. Stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your CBD products responsibly. Good night.